back to the Six-Side Calcio podcast. Once again, I'm joined by Danny and Franche. Boys, we had a interesting weekend. Obviously, Inter and Sassuolo did not take place. Roma got battered. Juve got upset by Benevento. We have a lot of talking points on this weekend, so I say we get straight into it because even though it was kind of a short weekend, obviously we're a game down. Like I said, Inter Sassuolo didn't take place. It was still a pretty entertaining weekend. We had a couple of youngsters that kind of stood out to us. I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, speaking about youngsters, we'll get straight into it with the first game here. Parma-Genoa. Pele scored a beautiful bicycle kick. We got to start off with that one. That was that was insane. I did not expect Pele to do that. And just to clear up, we're not talking about the Brazilian one. We're talking about the one that missed the penalty at the Euros. So and that Pele no one expected.
The one that we could have claimed would have been better than the Brazilian Pele if he would have scored against Germany. But I don't think this Pele should even be allowed in Italy after that disaster penalty.
Yeah, for real. That was
scoring bicycle kicks for fun.
Yeah, it's all jokes about him being the guy's nowhere close to Pele. One's a soccer icon. One's thank you Pele. You can say.
Yeah, for real. That guy, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Yeah, he scored a bicycle kick. It was actually really beautiful. One of the goals of the season so far. So credit to that. And the turning point for this match really was Scamacca coming on at halftime. Genoa really didn't have any offensive options up there. Everyone's kind of looking for someone to do something. And Scamacca came in. It was about 5 minutes after coming on, so around there. Scamacca came in and got a goal straight away. I'm not sure who. It wasn't really a cross. Someone volleyed.
It was Zappacosta. Zappacosta got his first assist.
Zappacosta.
Yeah, Zappacosta the first, and then Piaggia on the second.
The second.
Yeah, there's no way Zappacosta meant to cross that. That was 100% a shot. I don't care what anyone says. He shot that. And it just went right at Scamacca, and Scamacca put it in good positioning by him. But yeah, Zappacosta actually meant to play that in, and credit to him, but there's no way that was on purpose. Or else it's unbelievable. But yeah, Scamacca put it away, tied it up, and then it was I just couldn't believe he scored that. He went on to score a second. Scamacca came off the bench at halftime, and he scored a beauty from very far out to the bottom corner. Mm-hmm. What a strike. Obviously I'm high on him. He's Roman. I'm always supporting my Roman players like Politano and Napoli. All the Roman players I really like. And Scamacca is still young. He's Italian. And maybe for the national team one day we can see him be an important player. And he's up and down. He has a couple of weeks where he's not the same and a couple of weeks where he's astonishing. He's got to find a balance, but also look at the club he's playing for. They're kind of the same way up and down. So, Scamacca, I'd like to see him go to maybe a more, organized club at some point. I'd like to see that, but yeah, credit to Scamacca, great goal, and big win for Genoa then. Pele, I'm kind of happy his bicycle kick got outshined, I'm not going to lie, because
me too.
I'm not going to forgive him for that Euro, so credit to Scamacca for stealing the show there. And all 3 goals in his match scored by an Italian striker, so that's cool to see too.
Yeah, and like going on Scamacca too, I'm actually a big fan of him as well, watching him with the Italy under 20s at the World Cup, I want to say now 2 years ago, maybe two and a half years ago. Yeah, 2.5 years ago. I was just really impressed with him, and he's just a good striker. He's a target guy. He's a typical target guy, cross into the box and he'll win the headers. And he's a type of guy, like Enzo said too, I think on a better team than Genoa with better quality and better service. This guy could be a very good goal scorer. He could be maybe 10 to 15 goals a season, I believe. And who knows? He's still young. I think he's 21 now, 21, 22, around that age. Yeah. And who knows? One day maybe we can see Scamacca on Italy again in a friendly, hopefully, just to see how he does with the senior team. And he's a good goal scorer. He's a goal scorer too. And it's just the consistency of him. That's the only problem with him. And seems like that's the problem with a lot of Italian strikers. There's not really one striker who's consistent enough. Some can say Immobile, but this season he hasn't been consistent at all. And I feel like Scamacca could be an interesting target for a team in the summer. Maybe even a team that stays up, like a Benevento, or who even knows, like maybe like a Verona type. He's definitely one to look out for, and I'm really high on him as well.
Yeah, well said. We're all high on Scamacca, and happy to see him doing really well. So credit to him. Moving on now to Crotone-Bologna. What a match! 3-2 for Bologna, big win for them. Crotone had an early lead after goals from Messias Jr. and Simi, who he does have quite a bit of goals. I think it's 13 now, Simi. But I'm not gonna lie, most of them are pens, if I'm being honest. I feel like every weekend he scores a pen, this guy, but it's okay. He's been doing well, Simi. Credit to him. And he put away a penalty after Di Carmine was brought down in the box after a big tussle. Bologna came back to tie it. Yeah, it's crazy, but Bologna came back to tie it at 2, which I assume most people watching be like, yeah, okay, it's probably gonna end in a draw now. 2-2, nothing much is gonna come of it. And no, in the final 10 minutes before added time, Palacio took a shot from outside the box that forced Cordas to make a nice save, and right into the path of Skov Olsen, who I actually rate, I wouldn't say highly, but I rate him. He's a good player who put it away and got the win for Bologna. Great job from Skov Olsen. He's shown a lot of quality at times. It kind of reminds me of Carlos Perez, obviously making a Roma comparison, because that's what I watch most, but it kind of reminds me of Carlos Perez, where shot seems to get blocked 24/7. He makes so many nice moves and reads, and then just gets blocked every time, but there is some untapped potential. There's Skov Olsen. He's shown a lot of good bright sides, and I'm really happy to see him put that away and get the win for Bologna. Nice comeback, and really happy for Mihailovic whenever he does well. I love his story, and big ups to Bologna there.
Yeah, I liked his passion. I liked his passion during the game. Obviously, there was a time when there was a time in the down where he threw his hat down on the ground. You could obviously tell the frustration in him, and that's what you need. You need players to be passionate, even the coaching staff passionate. And that's what he did, and Bologna came back and won that game. So it goes to show you how much passion could lead you, and heart could lead you to win games.
Yeah, for Charles shocked you're going to jump in. Usually you don't like managers. Most managers you hate in Europe.
Yeah, no, even going back to Enzo's point, Skov Olsen, for me, before the goal, I feel like he was just getting unlucky. Not kind of unlucky, you can say unlucky in front of the net. He was taking a lot of good looks, but the ball wasn't going in the net. And seeing him get that goal, it's a big confidence, especially for a kid like him. So it's a big win for Bologna as well. And I just want to shout out Junior Messias.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man. I think he came from Brazil this year, and he's been very impressive. I've been impressed with him. He's an older guy. He kind of reminds me of a João Pedro, an older type player that doesn't get recognition, but he's having a great season, and I feel like he's Crotone's best player this season. Too bad they're not having their best season themselves, but if it was maybe a few other players, if this, say, an Unas came earlier, Simi started scoring a lot more, and this guy too, they probably would have stayed up, because he's such a good player. He's a player that goes under the radar because he's on a team like Crotone and they're dead last. But I can see him being in Serie A next year as well.
Yeah, he's really he's been doing really well. So I've been impressed by him, and I've been saying for a while now. Yeah, like you said, Dan, he's older, but for a team like Crotone, great player to have, and he's really done a lot of great things for them. So yeah, credit to him. Moving on now to Spezia and Cagliari, 2-1 win for Spezia here. We almost saw another comeback, which was crazy. Spezia were up 1-0 for the vast majority of the game. I think it was kind of I don't want to say a slow game, but not much was going on really. And then eventually it was 2-0 for Spezia after Maggiore took a volley that bounced from I don't know what happened. He volleyed it off the ground and almost hit the stars and then went into the net over Cragno. So yeah, that was very awkward. Cragno was probably frustrated. That happens maybe 1 out of a million times. And he put it away 2-0. And then you're pressing, okay, the game's done, which they did get the win eventually, but there's kind of more drama that led to the win, because a few minutes later, Cagliari got one back off a corner after Rugani headed it back into Gaston Pereiro. He was a substitute, he just came on, and he put it away, so we're like, okay, 2-1, whatever. And at the 90th minute, we thought we saw another comeback, but no, João Pedro's goal was ruled off. Yeah, he put one away, we got ruled off, and after the VR check, and Spezia got the win. So that could have been another drama-filled
at the
game.
Last minute, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole game was kind of slow, but in the last 15, 20 minutes or so, it was a really entertaining game. And yeah, if you're a Spezia or a Cagliari fan, you're probably sweating your Palini off there. So yeah, crazy game, and I enjoyed that one.
It's a big win. It's also a big win for Spezia too. Big 3 points for them. And I just want to give a quick shout out. For me, I'm very invested in youth players. I like looking at youth talent. Roberto Piccoli, since going to Spezia, he's been impressive at this Spezia. And Atalanta, I feel like they have a future player in him. And even Giuliano Maggiore, who I posted maybe in the summer, and we made an edit that I had him as one of my players to look out for this year. And so far he's been inconsistent, like it's been here and there, but I feel like he's having a productive season. He's definitely one player too that teams could look for in the future as well. And just like Spezia, they're actually a decent team. They're not as bad as people think. I give a lot of credit to Italiano as well. I think he's a good coach, and I feel like he's a good coach for like a side like Spezia, like a smaller side. It'll be interesting to see if he does move to like a team, say like Napoli, since we were linked with him, but who knows at this point. But I feel like he's a good coach, and I feel like Spezia is just the perfect team for him to coach. I don't feel like he should move from there because they got a decent core of players, and he has a really good system. There's sometimes like you question it, but again, it's always the small club mentality. When usually they take the lead, they tend to park the bus and absorb pressure, and big teams capitalize on that. So big win for Spezia, and I'm very impressed with the way the kids played this game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like you said, shout out to Piccoli. He hasn't been given a lot of minutes this year, but when he has gotten in, he's done well. 4 goals and an assist. He also has a goal and an assist in the Coppa Italia in only 3 appearances. So, yeah, definitely one to look out for. And, yeah, like you said, Dan, Atalanta could have something promising on their hands to add to their young core that Gasperini likes using. You know, Gasperini's a big fan of the young players, so maybe next year you might see Piccoli getting some more minutes. So we'll see. But yeah, well done to Spezia there for getting a win. Sampdoria-Torino, big win for Sampdoria, 1-0. Like the other match, not much went on for most of the game.
Pretty boring.
Yeah, it was a pretty slow game, not gonna lie. I do like the goal though. Sampdoria scored. Some nice link-up play between Algello, Gabbiadini, and Candreva. Nice play there. They got the lead pretty early on. I believe it was in the first 20-25 minutes or so. Algello's a player I've been liking this season. He's done well. He's really good going forward at the left back position. And definitely one to keep your eye out for. I like that play. He ran most of the field, he overlapped, and then he played in Gabbiadini, who played it first time, to Candreva, who then put it away. So a great goal for Sampdoria there. But honestly, nothing really to really talk about from this match. It's kind of like Francesca said, kind of like a slow, boring game. Not much to say. Udinese-Lazio, kind of similar. Lazio got the 1-0 win here. Before the game, Inzaghi said he was expecting a tough game against Udinese, and that's what he got. It was a classic grinded-out game. If you want top 4, it's a game you need to win, like we say every week, and this is one of them. He got the win. Marusic, his goal was pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie, obviously. I'm a big Lazio hater as a Roma fan. Don't give him credit much, but he scored a nice goal, Marusic. He faked twice before sending it to the top corner, so it was a nice strike. And they got the win, so they're keeping the pressure on clubs like Napoli, Roma. I don't even think we're in this top 4 race anymore. Atalanta, Napoli, so yeah. All the teams up there, they're keeping the pressure on, and this top 4 race is more entertaining than the race for the Scudetto at the moment. So, yeah, really good season in the Serie A. Obviously, a lot of things have gone on, like COVID and injuries and all this stuff, but it's still turning out to be a pretty entertaining year, so we're thankful we get to watch it take place. We also had Verona-Atalanta. Atalanta came away here with a 2-0 win. Similar to the Lazio game too, you know, it's Verona's a tough team to play against, similar to Udinese as of late at least. And Atalanta got the win here. They needed the win if they want to get top 4, because Napoli obviously beat Roma, Lazio beat Udinese, so all the teams in that top 4 race are winning. And for Atalanta, they had to get that win.
It's funny, all I'm gonna say is Atalanta didn't score 1 goal since Stefano Storaro stepped on the pitch.
Yeah, but they had 2 before he did.
Yeah, that's why you have to come on.
Yeah, Francesca loves his Storaro propaganda. But yeah, I guess if you want to look at it like that, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was a tough game, but it wasn't an easy game. It's kind of hard to explain. If you saw it, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but, it's always tough when you play like a team like Atalanta. Verona, because they're the way that they defend, the way that Juric has them set up, they're a tough team, and they got some attacking talent too that can like hurt you if you're caught in the counter. Very impressed with like DeMarco, say, even Falerioni too. Ferroni too. I feel like he's a great right back in the league. I think he's one of the most underrated ones in the league. I think he does a lot for that club that goes unnoticed. And even DeMarco too. He's turning out to be a good left back. I remember a few years back when I was watching him under 21s. This guy couldn't cross the ball at all. This guy, one of the worst crossing abilities I've seen.
You know how much I dislike them.
Yeah, but now, now I feel like as the years gone on, I feel like he's becoming an overall good left back in a fixture for Hellas Verona.
Yeah, he's grown a lot. And speaking about DiMarco, the first goal was scored by Malinovsky after a handball from DiMarco. Unfortunately for him, after the VAR check, they ruled it was a handball, and Malinovsky put it away. Who's also been great this year. I know we've spoken about Malinovsky quite a bit this year. And also the second goal scored by Gudmin Zapata. I'm sorry, Dan, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but Zapata beat Lovato pretty convincingly, got by him, and then put it past Silvestri for a nice goal.
It's okay, you can't.
But can't stop
Lovato's, guys, he's not the Maldini yet. He's good. I like him a lot.
Nah, he's good. He's good.
He's good. It's just he's still young, so there's gonna be a lot of mistakes he's gonna make. But I feel like he'll grow into a great center back.
Yeah, definitely. But a great win for Atalanta. And for Chad, I think you know what I'm going to bring up. So, Juventus-Benevento, 1-0 for Benevento at the Allianz Stadium, I believe, or Arena. I'm pretty sure it's Stadium.
Yeah, Stadium.
Allianz Stadium. For Chad, just go off.
As a Juve fan, this is one of the most disappointing results I've seen all season. And all the Juve fans will know there's a lot of them. It started off Benevento, you know, against Juve, they're disappointing. Just like Enzo would say when they faced Roma a couple of weeks back, they just wanted the draw. You could tell they didn't care about getting the win. They sat back behind the ball and just absorbed the counterattack. That's how they play. That's their game style. I think the lineup was good enough from what I saw. But it goes to show you at the beginning of the game, I think Enzo's going to talk about this too, but when I saw Agnelli hand over Ronaldo that jersey with the goals like on the back of the jersey, and then they said goal on it, I knew it'd be a recipe for disaster. A player like Ronaldo, he doesn't need his ego fed, because once you feed his ego, he gets too complacent, and that's when he doesn't shine at his best. Ronaldo thrives on hate and poor performances. That's how he thrives on his big games. When he played against Porto, you saw how shit he was, and then against Cagliari, he gets a hat trick. Now you're calling him the GOAT right before a game against Benevento at home. Ronaldo is dreadful. Marato is even worse. Kulusevski is unpopular opinion. I don't like the guy. I think he's good. I don't think he's good enough for Juve. I'd get rid of him this summer if I'm honest. Chiesa can't play on the left. Chiesa is better on the right. I don't know why we sacrifice Chiesa on the left for Kulusevski. It just makes no sense. Artur, I never hated the guy, but I was never too fond of him. I mean, when I was watching at Barca, I even said this in a previous podcast, that Artur just turns around and passes the ball backwards. He doesn't really do a lot, and a lot of people go crazy about him. But it goes to show you today, he has the right idea. He just doesn't have the right power in his foot. He almost got a really nice assist where he lobbed the ball over the defender, except there wasn't enough power. If there's enough power, there would have been a goal. But it's just a shame to see that mistake that costed us the game. Obviously in the 70th minute. Juventus by any means didn't deserve this win at all, but they also didn't deserve the loss. Artur does a pass around by the box, and you learn that when you're 4 years old, not to ever pass across the box. And he did it, and I actually don't know where De Ligt was. He wasn't in the picture. And then Danilo was out of position like always. And just interception and unlucky goal. That's one goal I can't blame Szczesny for. Bernardeschi at left back, there's no creativity in him, but I can't blame Pirlo for starting him. Cuadrado was out for suspension. Chiesa should have gotten a penalty, but the refs are on Inter side this season. Overall, it was just a disaster of a game. McKennie, I don't know why he came out at the 73rd minute. He should have been starting if it was up to me. But it's a game that I left behind me. Hopefully that's a wake-up call, because if Pirlo's making it very hard for us to win the Scudetto at this point at home against Benevento. when Inter beat them 4-0 and 5-2 this season. It's just not looking good for Juventus this season, but hopefully this result inspires us and motivates us to just get result after result after that horrible performance. I think we need a performance like this to kind of wake us up. So next game, I hope we're awake, I hope we're aware, and I hope we go for some blood. And Benevento, I pray every night that you guys get relegated and never come back to Serie A.
Well then,
the last part.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was going pretty well until the last part. All right, so that's for Chaz's hate message of the podcast we're waiting for. Yeah, definitely disappointing if you're a Juve fan of the expectations you had heading into the season. It's tough to go out against Benevento like that, especially in a loss at home. So obviously they're going to look to bounce back, and they usually do, just if they can put a couple games in a row together. Scudetto looks like it's going to Inter at this point. It's almost certain. Unless some major drop-off from Inter takes place. But
well, it did in Handanovic, but, City are on their side.
Yeah, that's another thing. We got into a bit last podcast. If you want to hear it, we have timestamps and on our Twitter account, so go take a look at that, or even in the bio, wherever you listen to it on. We talked about that a little bit near the end of the podcast, so go take a listen. Yeah, moving on here from the Juve game. Fiorentina-Milan, 3-2 for Milan. What a game. Fiorentina, they always seem to make it tough on big teams, but never actually win the game, which kind of hilarious.
Unless you're Juve.
Unless you're Juve, yeah. But, yeah, just a crazy game. To start off, you're Pulgar. What a hit.
What beautiful free kick. Oh, beautiful.
Very nice free kick.
That was, especially against someone like Donnarumma, who's so long and his reflexes are so good. He couldn't even get to that. So I don't think any keeper in Europe would have. That was just incredible.
Yeah, it was a perfect place. That was the definition of perfectly placed free kick.
It was a tough angle. You would think he'd cross it from there, but he went to go hit it, and you can't blame him. I knew Pulgar can hit it, but not like that. So, yeah, credit to him, and beautiful goal there. Milan were fighting back most of this game, and there were some points where I was like, is it really done for Milan here? Ribéry, when he put them ahead, I was like, okay, I think Milan might be done here. Inter's going to Scudetto, it's over. Milan's falling apart. Like Danny said last podcast, it's over for Milan. But, no, they kept fighting. And
yes, huge goal.
Yeah, huge. And that's one thing about this Milan team that Pioli installed to them. They fight back. Even though they don't have the most, I'm not going to say most, but they don't have the best quality in their team. And they still get by these games. And credit to them, Fiorentina, even though their record's not the best, don't mistake them for a garbage team. They're good. They're a very good team.
Yeah, Fiorentina, just, especially with Prandelli, they've really been picking up results.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate for them. Obviously, that penalty appeal, I personally think that was a penalty that was missed.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think that would sway the game a lot more differently than it did.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a penalty there.
Also, too, it doesn't help when like your starting goalie, who's easily maybe I want to say top 10 in the league.
Yeah, he's really good.
Such a very good goalkeeper. He got injured.
Maybe even better. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, Torrecano had to come in, and this guy, I don't know, man. Him and Pardelli are on level or Pradelli from Inter, their backup, on level from. They don't know where the ball is 90% of the time. There was one point where Ibra crossed it, and Torrecano just looked at it like, okay, I'm going to leave it, and the ball hit the post, and it almost went in.
Yeah, the post was his best friend that game. Ibra hit the post like 4 times.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if you're a Fiorentina fan and you're listening to this, I think you can agree with me what I'm about to say. You're praying Dragowski isn't hurt too bad, because he's such a good goalie, man. And too bad, like Fiorentina, again, they don't have the best defense. They were playing 4 center backs, this game, and they don't have the best defense, but he's a key aspect of why they don't concede like 8 goals a game. He's such a good goalie, makes some big saves. And he's just scary looking too, like Dragowski. Like he reminds me of like a Viking, and he's a great goalie, and I would love to see him on a bigger club, hopefully soon. But yeah, give Milan credit, they battled back. Ribéry, he still got it.
He still has it.
for a guy who had a lot of injuries in his career, he's up there in age as well. He still got it, the guy. So good on him. And Enzo, I know you're gonna get happy with this. Vlahovic again, once again, contributing to a goal. And just I'm gonna give Fiorentina credit for putting up a fight, but I'll give Milan even more credit for the first time in a while that they actually came out and they got the 3 points, and it's huge for them because now they're, I want to say 4 points back of, maybe more, maybe 4 or 5 points back of Inter, and they're still battling for second. They have to worry about Juve, who's on their tail, Atalanta, who's on their tail, and even Napoli too. I know it's a long shot, but Napoli are 6 points back of second place.
Yeah.
So you gotta look out. They have to keep winning these matches if they want to finish in the top 4. And Napoli and Juve also have a game in hand, so that game is going to be huge, depending for both sides when it comes to top 4 implications, and also Juve if they're still considered title contenders. They're still that's a huge match for them. And this was a big 3 points for Milan, and let's see if they can bounce back off this result after the international break.
Yeah, and definitely before we move on to the match I don't want to talk about quickly, Vlahovic, like you said, Dan, he set up Ribery there. One question I know people have had is can he hold up the play? Because Vlahovic usually likes to turn and run at the defender. And well, I guess the answer is yes. He held up the play there, played to Ribery. He could have shot and turned. He could turn and shot, and instead he laid it off to Ribery, who had a better angle. Really high IQ to do that. I know it looks simple, but most young strikers like to score. They turn around and fire it at the net. But instead, he saw the veteran Ribery had a better look at the net. He played it off for him, and then he put it away. So, yeah, Vlahovic keeps impressing me. And please, Roma, don't let him slip away. I want him so bad. I love Vlahovic. But yeah, well done from Milan and also Fiorentina for fighting back and not really getting walked over. Because, like you said, Francesca, since Prandelli's arrived, they've been showing a better account for themselves. So, yeah, credit to both teams. Moving on now to the final match of this match day, heading into the international break. Roma-Napoli at the Stadio Olimpico. Heading into it, you heard my thoughts on the last podcast and every big match before every single one. I expected a loss. To be honest, I expected it to be worse than it was. And that's what I got. So no surprises there. Dan, you want to start off or should I? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you can go.
All right, so I told Dan, I think an hour before the game, I sent him a text. I said, we always start off slow against the big teams. We make a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure, Dan, you would agree that was exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Kept giving the ball up, and when teams pressure us, we do not know what to do. We get nervous. We give up the ball. It doesn't help that Veretout was missing one stat that the commentator mentioned, which didn't really blow my mind, but it really shows how valuable Veretout is. We won 58% of games with Veretout and won 38% without him. So that's a big difference. And we've been seeing it without Veretout. We've been struggling to get results. He's the glue we have that leads from defense to offense. And without him, we don't have that. We just have a very defensive-minded team. Diawara is a great player. I really like watching him, but he's someone who protects the defense. He doesn't bring the ball up. That's not his style of play. Villar he likes to move the ball around, which he should have started, by the way. That was a big mistake from Fonseca. Pedro is horrific. I never want to watch him play again for my club. Dzeko is finished. I'm going to say right now, Dzeko is finished. He's done. And Mayrel and Villar should have been in the starting lineup with Pellegrini moving up to the attack. That should have been the lineup. We made a huge mistake when Villar came on later on in the game. He was doing well. And there's one player where he dribbled past 4 or 5 Napoli players that got into the box and caused a little bit of trouble there quickly. But yeah, we needed Villar and Mayrel, and I was just really disappointed with that starting lineup. Cristante has been good for us most of the year. I'm actually really impressed how at Atalanta he had 9 goals. He was center attacking mid, and now he's playing center back and not doing too bad. But against Napoli, he was horrific. He kept giving the ball up. One of his worst games of the year. And something I don't get is that Napoli, I'm sure, Dan, you can agree, whenever I watch Napoli, when a team presses Napoli, they usually struggle. That's where you see the most issues come with Napoli, because their back line isn't too good at distributing the ball. And when we started doing that, we saw success, but we just couldn't score. And Fonseca got it completely wrong. We should have been pressing Napoli from the first minute, and instead we sat back. We just let them play up the ball around, and that's the last thing you want to do against a team like Napoli. He was so good at moving the ball around. And when we got punished, Mertens, that guy always kills us, and I knew he would. And that free kick, there's just some free kicks in soccer.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful free kick. And it's just some shots, I'm sure you guys agree, where you just know it's going to go in. You just know it's going to go in, 100%. No matter where it's from, you know it's going in. And me and my dad both said, this is a goal. They're scoring 1-0. And then it went in. Yep, there it is, 1-0. It's frustrating. We haven't won a big game once this season, if you exclude Europe. And I don't know when it's going to end. Fonseca, this is the first game where I really start to question him. I believe he got the tactics completely wrong. I think beforehand, people were a little harsh on him. I still think people are, but it's the first time where I'm kind of like, Fonseca, where's the reaction? He's blaming the mentality. No, I don't think it was mentality. I think it was the tactics. Because second half, if we played it the whole game, I think we could have got a result, at least a draw. Maybe we still would have lost, but we could have pressured Napoli, made it a better game.
At least put up a fight.
Yeah, put up a fight, and we didn't do that until the second half. So disappointed. Yeah, not much else to say really. Thank God the international break's here, and Dan, take it away.
Yeah, like heading into the match, I remember when Angelo goes, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of mistakes, but all the stuff that Roma were doing in the first half. And for me, I was like, okay, when I saw Napoli passing back and I saw Roma pressuring, there was a few times where Roma pressured, but it wasn't good enough. They were saying one point where Pedro pressured, but Dzeko was lazy and just sat back and allowed Napoli to build up from the back, which is one thing I was surprised that Napoli did well this game. It was their build up from the back. There was a few times there was a few blunders by say Koulibaly. One was by I think Maximovic as well, which is not a surprise because this guy makes mistakes every game. But I was just very happy. I'm very happy with the result. It was a great performance. Especially with Mertens' first goal. Like, what a free kick that was. Oh, my God. And give Zielinski credit, too. The first, he set up the free kick, made a beautiful turn. I think it was on Ibanez, where he did a nice, little turn, and Ibanez fouled him. Putting Mertens in a good position to bang it, which I was not a big fan of him starting, but after the match, I'm kind of glad he started. There was one time in the first half where he had a breakaway and and the ball was behind him, and I was just getting very frustrated watching that. I was like, this guy can't even run anymore, but then he scores a free kick and made up for it. And then Napoli's second goal was something I saw from Sarri. It brought me back to Sarri days, where Insigne would cut on his right, or cross it into Caglione at the time, and to Politano. Politano heads it to Mertens, and Mertens made no mistake, which Paul Lopez almost got to be fair. So
yeah,
I thought he saved it at first, but when I saw it go in, I got so happy. First half was, I would say, probably one of our best halves I've seen in a while, to be honest. But then the second half came, and it's like Napoli sat back, absorbed the pressure that Roma were giving, allowed Roma to get into the match a little more, which is one thing I never get with teams, especially with Napoli. It seems like they do that a lot. That when they lead in the first half, the momentum tends to die down in the second half, and we allow the other teams to come in, which I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, we got the clean sheet, got the 3 points, and it's now back-to-back clean sheets for Napoli, which is very good. So let's see. Hopefully we got a big match against Crotone. Even though it's against Crotone, these are points we can't drop, especially because we have Juventus on the April 5th, I believe. It was the 5th or 6th, one of the 2 days after the international break. So these are big games coming up, and I'm just very happy with the way the squad's been performing as of late.
Yeah, definitely. Napoli's really turned it around. I'm happy for Gattuso. I really like Gattuso as not only as a player, but as a person. And as a manager, obviously his tactics get questioned at times, but one thing you can't question is really his ability to get the team to play together. And Napoli seems like a family. It hugs all the players. They look like they're having a good time. And there's one time where, I think it was Insigne, tried to play the ball to Mertens, and then he misplaced the pass, and then Mertens turned around and smiled at him. Like, they all look happy. They're enjoying their time playing, and that's something I think Roma's missing, the joy of it. We seem stressed out, like we got something up our ass or something. Like, I don't know. Like, we can't really play freely, and I feel like Napoli do that. So, yeah, credit to Gattuso. I'm happy he's done well. Yeah. A lot of people called for his job, and he's done well.
Yeah, one thing I'm questioning too now, which I'll get into a later podcast, probably at the end of the year. If not, like the way Napoli's been played, do you still sack Gattuso or do you keep him? right now, I just want to focus just to finish the year, and then I'll answer that question. But just one thing I'd like to see, too, at the end of the game where Gattuso was talking to the referee, I have no idea about why, and then Politano said something, and Gattuso ended up giving him a little kick. It's just all good fun. I like seeing stuff like that.
Oh, my God, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
I love seeing coaches and players, like, share a little moment like that, especially on the sidelines, where Gattuso and the assistant were hugging. The team was standing up for the first time in a while, yelling after the game. It seems like Napoli are coming all together as one.
Yeah, they're becoming a family under Gattuso.
They're becoming a family, which is when they're clicking. Not even being biased, I still believe they're one of the best. They're still maybe a top 3 side in Italy when everything goes their way, if they can play consistently. And it's just nice to see, like, again, like the moments shared, and also Gattuso hugging the players, giving the players, like, still yelling at the players even after they scored, which is one thing I love about him. He gives players shit. It doesn't matter. Napoli can be up 6-0. He'll still be telling Koulibaly to keep focused, don't give up the goal, because that's one thing I think Gattuso likes too. He likes when his team gets clean sheets. I think all managers do. And there's a lot of times where under Sarri, Napoli would say be winning 2-0, 90th minute, about maybe 2 minutes left, maybe a minute left.
They can see
their goal, and we have to sweat it out the last minute. So that's one thing I like about Gattuso. He gets the best out of his players. Tactically, yes, questionable, very questionable. But I feel like this match, he got a lot of things right. Just wish that Napoli would have played a little bit better in the second half.
Yeah, and on the Roma side of things, the Europa League's our only hope now. It's kind of depressing knowing that our only hope of going to Champions League is winning a competition we've never won in our club's history. So we'll see how that one works out. Fonseca, if he doesn't win the Europa League, his job's gone. I can guarantee you that. The Friedkin, just by looking at them, they're furious, you can tell.
Yeah, there was one point in the match too,
shaking their heads.
They looked at each other and they just shook their heads. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, people are blaming one thing, Fonseca, the players. You got to blame a bunch of things. It's a bunch of things all into one. The players, the manager, the mentality, everything. So, yeah, definitely. Do we need quality in the summer and upgrades? Of course. Do we need a new manager? We'll see. We got to let everything play out. Until then, international break. Or we need the Qatar University to come back. And, yeah, Forza Azzurri, yeah, another thing. Italy's coming up. Not really much to talk about right now, obviously. Are they even training yet? No, right? No, they're not training.
I think tomorrow. I think they start tomorrow. I know Mancini has press conference today. He gave an update on the Inter players. We'll find out today or tomorrow if the Inter
they shouldn't come. They have forfeit. They shouldn't come.
I don't believe
that's a lie. You never know.
I know a few players from Inter left for international break. Let's see if Barella or even don't get why Sensi was called up, but that's another discussion for another day. See if they'll be joining Italy in tomorrow's training session.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be releasing podcasts during the international break. Maybe probably early next week, just to recap all the games that took place and our opinions. So looking forward to that one. We haven't had an Azzurri pod in a while. But yeah, until then, thank you for listening. Enjoy the international break. And yeah.
I think you know what's coming.
No. Please.
2 seconds.
Okay,
As the people know.
Yeah. Here we go.
Me and little Max don't have the best relationships.
Let's talk about Max Allegri for everyone listening.
and this guy, the minute Juventus are doing poorly, this little sewer rat crawled through the cracks, went on his media, went on TV. The guy lost some hair since he's retired as a coach, and likes to keep our name in his mouth. Obviously, the media like to have that initiative, talk about his previous job. Because he hasn't been hired since. And he said a quote that really pissed me off. I just want to read it out. He said, Juve has quality, but Barzagli has retired. Chiellini plays less as the soul of the team that needs to be rebuilt. And I agree with that 100%. But then he says, we need to find players with certain characteristics. And this scares me. This scared me. Paratici. I don't care. I know you're listening, buddy. Under no circumstances do I want to see this hairless mole rat return to Juventus. I don't want to see him as a fan. I don't want to see him as a coach. The chapter is done. I don't want to see it revisited. He said nothing's impossible. He might return. I don't care where he goes. I don't want it to be at Juventus. Paratici, please. I'd rather have Pinsoglio as the coach. I just needed to say that. But guys, it's been fun talking. Just know if Allegri comes to Juventus, the podcast is gonna stray from PG-13 to mature audiences.
Yeah, I think we're already past that at this point. I don't know if that was necessary, but yeah, there's Francesco's thoughts on Allegri.
Allegri mentions Allegri every podcast. He mentions something about Allegri.
He crawls through the cracks now. He says he's finally going to get a coaching job. He said that 2 years ago.
Let's be real. When was the last time you guys did something in Champions League? It was under Allegri. So maybe he's the key to success. Who knows?
Oh.
Well, I'm gonna cut it off here before Francesco goes to the ranch, because when I hear Francesco say the word well, I know 45 minutes is coming after that.
It's best to cut it out. We're already at 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure after we're done recording here, Francesco's gonna explain to Danny why he thinks it's not true. But anyways, Francesco, I'm gonna stop you there.
Guys,
thank you for listening.
There's a chance I go more in depth on the Allegri on the 3 cultural tiers. So if you want to hear that, make sure to tune in.
Yeah, definitely check them out. Thank you for listening. Check out our social media at Calcio. We'll be back next week. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, guys.